something like that earlier, they can analyze it and work out what's going on. It was a very weak-looking big, to be honest, on Mirage. So maybe they spotted some exploits and thought, we'll take him down there.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, again, we don't know the situation on their thought process going into it, but the fact that they played it earlier and they're going to go against them knowing that they played, maybe you're onto something. Maybe they did identify an issue with Big's performance on Mirage. Certainly there was one, because they were not victorious against Vitality, who, keep in mind, the other French team. Maybe NBK sat down and said, hey boys, we played them. You're about to play them on Mirage. They were weak. Here's where they were weak. Try it.
That's also a valid point. Could be the case. Who knows? Smokes in, G2, execution off the bat, CT spawn, and that one, if it's designed like that, I guess to plant in the smoke. I thought I was going for spawn. I assume that's the way it's supposed to go. As you can see, CD spawn is a bit of an issue now. It's going to be Xantares kicking things off, this time with a nice headshot.
They've pushed off jungle, which is the fastest place in which you can deny that plant from. Mid-side smoke is actually not uncommon. It's old school almost at this point for the pistol, but you can run it in so quickly in a direct line of sight from A main to the smoke and not get caught off. So long as no one's inside a shadow or inside of the sandwich position, you pretty much get a free plant. That's exactly how it transpired. Unfortunately, they could not hold the site itself as Gobby takes out Shocks. It will be big to start off with the pistol.
They got Xantares with a couple of frags there. Yeah,
that's much better.
Yes, you want players like him to have good starts, especially if he's not feeling 100% comfortable speaking English and having to fit into this new team and not a lot of time to prep. But we get into the next round now. G2 have been known to enjoy a force buy. We've seen a couple of times today. Get 2 AKs in this round with 3 pistols and see what your star players can do. Do G2 feel comfortable with that sort of setup? Oh, there's one. And the second and third. So they've gone for 2 AKs here. A Galil, and they have force sport. Kenny S, it's been a massive talking point, at least from my point of view of this tournament. He keeps limiting himself. He had to drop an AK there. He gets Deagle, no armor. If they don't win this round, he won't have the AWP for a while. So we'll see what they can do as Antares facing towards middle. That's Lucky. Young French guns here. It's holding up very slowly. They don't want to give it the fact they've got these AKs until they've got a chance of a kill. You do not want to fire a single bullet. You want the CTs hunting and trying to close the round out quickly. That sort of opportunity is what you're looking for.
Yep. Fantastic to find Xantares.
So you can see he wouldn't usually play a gun round like that. He thinks he's going against pistols, so he's jumping up, getting intel. Meets the AK.
No one can take that for granted anymore because of the current system. If there's a bomb plant in round 1 and you get the 2-round loss bonus, you have to consider, if there was kills on the board especially, that someone's going to bring out an AK. So a little bit caught unaware by Xantares, and we just talked about the fact that he had a good start as well. That kind of puts a bit of skepticism in his mind.
Yeah, he really didn't perform earlier. Well, A execution potentially here. Won't be much of them. They've only got a single smoke, but they do have another opportunity now with the 5-on-4.
They're going to go for a post-plant smoke. I thought maybe they do the mid-side again and just run it in to get it down. And then it's actually a late CT. That'll work. Gobby, he's got other ideas. Back through the smoke, he finds Kenny S. Bomb dropped for a moment, and he wants more.
Oh dear, where is Nex? He's getting so many kills. He dinked that plant. Oh dear.
Wow.
3 kills coming through smokes. Is Nex a short? He must have been, right?
Yep, he was.
So
absolutely.
He dinked the initial planter, which alley-oops the denial originally for Gobby. Then they all plant one by one. Instead of being calm and maybe addressing the situation correctly, all just try to plant one after the other, and it all falls apart. Well done to Big. That's fantastic. It didn't look... Oh, okay, what a nightmare. Why are they planting there when they haven't got short cover? I couldn't tell you. That's why G2 have not looked too impressive recently. Just those sort of glaring issues keep happening. Like, that's a real basic one. You're planting towards short, no one covering connector. Like, is anyone... Do I even have to explain that one? Like... Seems pretty obvious to me. Either way, well done to Big. They'll take those opportunities and put them in the bank, as that was a huge round for them. And now, remember, like I said, Kenny S is the one who had to drop the AK before. He will struggle to get the AK out going forward. They're going to get $2,400 on top of what they have now. Luckily, Kenny S gets a kill, so you can buy the weapon. They get the bomb down, he'll be absolutely fine. That's a big if.
Yeah, Nex got baited into drawing his aim away from the first target, and that didn't give him the lineup when Lucky showed up. Shox got the kill. Tabson, a bit slow to respond when he got to the doorway. Leaves us now still in a 3-a-side situation, but nade to the site. Kenny drops bomb, going to be taken away from Lucky as well. Should be the round. Tabson's on 10, doesn't need to reface. He'll let Zontaras do the work. Another 2 kills for him, 4 in total after 3 rounds, despite going down in the last one. They held on to it. Gabi leads the way after 4 kills last round. 1 this time, sits on 4 total. And now it's 3-0 for Big. Kenny S has the op, however.
What else does he have? So you got Kevlar due to the fact he got those kills there. So that's good news for him. At least he can get the weapon out. And they got AKs around him. Shox with no utility. Big with a much better start this time. 3-0 for them. Oh my god, Matt, have you ever seen anything like it? He's killed his teammate at the very start of the round, and they've lost another kill in the process. That couldn't have actually gone any worse for them if you'd have tried.
Wow. Team kills were the name of the game last week on day one. There was like an incredible amount of team kills on day one last time. This time, we've got 1, and that's it.
So just to talk that one through, he's pre-firing the window, and he's so honed in on that position. If anyone crosses his scope, it's just a natural reflex, right? The hit mouse 1, and he's blown Body's head off. It's not gone well. And everyone's dropped in the process. This is G2 gifting another round away. So sloppy on that plant previous. Now a team kill in the best of 1. Kenny has got some making up to do here, but 5-on-2 is not looking too promising for him. And the connector now. It's going to rattle his confidence as well. That's him back to 0 kills. Holds connector. It's up to Jax to try and find an opening here. Kenny just seems quite happy to hold connector.
Jack's going to check out the window room vents Molotov to limit anyone from working back in from jungle. They don't want anyone in that position sooner than required. Ooh, doesn't quite get the angle. And Kenny's got the shot on Tabson. They just wanted to have self-preservation with that single Molotov in case anyone were close enough to catch them off in the middle of the boost. Now they rush in. This is more like it. A plan and an approach, but overlooking the fact that Tizian's still inside of the site. It's over. 3 seconds left at this point. Kenny just needs to stay alive. He's left himself very open at this point. It's Tizian hoping the wall's enough, but I don't think he spotted Gabi trying to hide.
No money for Kenny. He dies after the timer. Yes, those kills are pretty nice. A chance to win the round, but 3 a B. That's about as bad as it could go for Kenny there. He kills his teammate to begin with. He dies after the timer. They don't get a plant. And their eco now, they've had to drop him a PT50. He's on $300. Now 0 as he buys a flashbang. We'll see what can be done here. Yeah, if you had to design a horrible start, this is what it would look like pretty much. Oh, head towards the B side of the map here, looking for a plant. Jax is committed, and he might be going down quickly. He is past the flames at least. Tizian might want to jump up and have a look. Flash goes in, but no chance of them getting out just yet. The CTs look too comfortable. Tabson's there with the orb. They won't even check Tizian's position. He plays here a lot, actually.
He does, but he seems to be there whenever he's got support, which means the aggro's pulling away from him, and he just sits and waits for them to cross inside of the site. It's a good position to be in that situation. All 5 stay alive, importantly. So 5-0 for Big. This is a much better start than what they had this morning. Importantly, not allowing Kenny to get any money in the last round means he's light this time, but they could drop one over to him, one of them being the AWP, obviously. On the other side of it, they're starting to build up a bank.
They'll take a timeout, discuss their options. Tabson now the main AWPer of Big. If you're not aware, Smooya benched himself. And
the king is dead.
Yes, and Tabson.
Long live the queen.
Tabson's
That's
taking
you,
over.
Henry.
I know, I'm the most fabulous one. Tabson taking over the AWP. Zantara is coming in as well. Turkish powerhouse. Ready to show us what he's made of. So far, very quiet by his standards, but they are 5-0 up. Tizian 6 kills, got B 7. He hasn't died yet. They haven't killed God B. He's the real king.
I mean, that's true. He is absolutely the king. He needs to be given a lot of credit for how much passion he has for the game. unlike many people who DM to get better or to warm up or practice, who play FPL or Rank S, he sits.
Oh my God.
They just crossed right by each other. I thought they were going to see it. I thought Zantares would react, but he had his knife out, so they just had to retreat.
Well, he'll take that at least. The situation he was in could have got a lot worse.
Just going to say, though, Godby, unlike those people, he goes into servers and finds every angle, finds every little nook and cranny, comes up with ways to exploit meta, guns, etc. So it's no surprise to see them so proficient on the AUG and occasionally the Krieg on their T side.
Yeah, it was him and Nex using the Krieg full time. Godby and Nex. And Nex actually played really well in that first game. But unable to find a victory. Body naded up. I'll send a smoke towards the window. That allows Zantares to have a retreat. A reposition or hold there. Kenny S now finding kills as he opened things up towards A. That's actually Tabson going down, his rival sniper.
He's still just waiting for that gap to open up. Next again from Catwalk.
Not the same.
He's crouched down. They're aware of where he is this time. At least good entrance from Kenny. But Tizian on the rotation this time will hold off from CT. 2 more for him. He's left alone, however. They got Next down. They covered off. Oh my God, they nearly lined up. In fact, they got a dink on Lucky through the other player.
Well, it comes right down to the wire. G2 finally get that round on the board, but only one survives. Luckily, they recover the AWP, but this reinvestment into the round is going to be tricky. They might need to pause here just to discuss their options. They're going to be so... they're going to be lacking in utility in general. We'll see what they can do. It'll be enough for AK's smokes, whether they get the Molotovs, I'm not sure. Shoxy has 1 flash. Jax with 1 flash and a smoke. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but lots of reset potential here.
Godby waiting for it, but Kenny, he's got to get aggressive with the AWP, seemingly, because they're nading behind him. It pushes him forward slightly. No one counter-peeking off of that, and he'll smoke himself out at this point. So no further action at B. God was really aggressive as well on A main this morning. Keep that in mind. There was a lot of times, to be fair, that he was flashed off by his teammates, but twice in particular at A main, both times costing him because they read the flash in the form of Vitality. That's who they were playing. Read the flash, knew that he was up close and checked that corner. Pre-fired him in both occasions, one with the op, one with a UMP, if I remember correctly.
That's right, the UMP. And he got 1. It could have been more, I think, on the second.
Yeah, but he's opened up the angle as well. He's peeked into the cave. He's been there a lot. So watch for Godby to continue being aggressive. And again, if obviously everyone was quite busy this morning with practice and getting ready for their own respective games, and there was 2 games going on at a time, hard to know who you were going to play. If G2 saw anything, they'll know at least that.
Well, here we go. Looks like a B-side approach. There's a couple of smokes remaining, but Tizian will be baiting in Next to perfection here. Nice little bait and switch. He actually is going to get on the other side of the smoke. This is actually sort of magical. I'm not sure they'll be aware of this. If Next can now shift into the player baiting him in, it could be enough. Needed 2 out of that. It was a really nicely established setup, but he only gets 1.5. But will they check the classic Tizian spot? They will. And Next goes down with nothing. This is looking much better for G2.
Low HP body somehow gets by Zantares. Still sits with those 4 kills that he had in round 3. It's gone a little quiet, and this round seemingly quiet for Big as well. Godby just going to hold off on the extremities because they want to, at this point, amputate the exits, cut off all the limbs, make sure nobody gets out. Godby does take down Kenny. He doesn't have a whole lot of money. The AWP will be on the balcony. Godby, though, doesn't want to stay there and hold it. Interestingly, he's going to give that back up. I thought killing Kenny, he might actually just sit and watch that hallway. But he seems to have a better read. He seems to think they'll just go out the easy way on the catwalk, and he's gone all the way around. Spots Lucky, but good shoulder peek. Tapson still has ideas to take down Shox. In fact, he got Shox. Lucky died to the bomb? Lucky stayed alive. He was the last alive. Okay, excuse me.
One of them did die to the
Yeah,
boss.
it wasn't Lucky, so I didn't see who it was.
Well, whoever it was, they will be dead now, of course, but still only 1 player survives for G2. If they can win this round, they will break the economy of the CTs finally, but still at breaking point themselves. So a tactical timeout from the terrorist again. His body getting it done. It was looking so good for Tizian there. I thought he was going to get 2. It looked so private, could have took his time a little bit more, but didn't work out for him. Managed to get 1.5, and Next couldn't find that low HP player. Maybe if he gets one, there was a chance there for them, but wasn't meant to be. So, Orb did survive, but not much else on the CT side. So they have an AUG, AWP, Gobby with the SMG next to the CZ. Tizian yet to buy, goes for the MP9. He might not get any grenades. I was about to say, if he makes a gamble play and pushes beast apartments, for example, maybe you don't want grenades. There's a good chance you just die. But A execution, maybe a bait or an A split coming in here, we'll see. As they're going to deploy grenades very early on. A split looks likely.
Smokes down in connector once more. Body is between them. Zontaras came out from underpass a little bit too late. Wouldn't have spotted Body. They may not know this, and that smoke's dissipating. I have a feeling Tabson's going to be sitting wide open at this point. Op in hand. They've got no idea Body's position. He takes Gobby instead. Now they know. He may have been better off not to take that shot, because depending on Zontaras' movement, he might have been able to sneak out and take the op as well. Nonetheless, it comes down to Tizian next, and Zontaras left alive as Kenny pulls one back, but then gets immediately taken out. Zontaras seems to get 2 kills in every round he gets 1. Next closes out on Jax. I think that's his 6th total. He's had 3 multi-kill rounds, all with 2 apiece.
Well, that's the round G2 couldn't afford to give up. Now that has reset them. They're 6-2 down. Looking at about a 0-2 here at the major. Like Matt said at the beginning of this game, you could go home tomorrow if you go 0-2. Kenny S on the AK. Managing to pull a kill back, but Zontaras showing us what he's made of on that AUG. And next with the flank, finishes things off. And at this point, G2 have used their 3rd timeout out of 4.
I feel like, as well, just for, I guess, a mental sake, if you're a Legends team and you're one of the teams to go home tomorrow, that means having your legendary spot, all this preparation for the Supreme Major, this top major we're having right now, you're gone in 3 days.
And you're back in the minors as well.
Yes, great point, but just to be here 3 days while watching the first part of the tournament, it's one thing for a challenger team to go after being like, okay, we've been here a week, we had a bit of a run, we got into it. You can take some confidence from that. If your Legend team shows up and gets 0-3 and you're gone in 2 days, it's like, well, we just got absolutely wrecked. Like, what can you say? There's nothing you can say.
No, absolutely not. It's not acceptable, especially with the best of 3 now in the elimination games. So, either way, here we go. And it's going to be, I guess you'd call this a partial buy. Body's invested everything. So lucky and shots, to be fair. So I guess this is a force. As they'll make their way through, they've taken so much damage here. The bomb's gone down towards B, so rotations will occur right now. Can Tizian stay alive? Always a decent anchor for them. I think he's underrated in terms of his ability to play a similar role to Body. Holding those B-bomb sites, he always seems like his aim's pretty spot on. Definitely one of the players, I guess, he's not really touched upon that much, but he's top fragging right now at 13-4.
Yeah, solid performance so far for him. And it's now 7-2 for Big.
And that was their force buy. I thought it was a partial, but 3 of them fully invested. So they're back in the doldrums now. $2,000 per player. They will get $2,400 on top of what they have right now into the next round. That's if they don't get a plant. So they will have a buy into the next one. Kenny S can buy the AWP, but won't have everything he needs. As they go towards connector here. Short's been a problem for them in this position. This time, yep, make sure that's covered. They get it quickly, and they might get a nice couple of kills here, but God B's there to shut down any hopes and dreams they had. 2 kills with the MP9, perfect weapon to take down his unarmored terrorist players, and there's another one for Kenny. His 2nd of the round. Is there a chance for a plant here? Taps in 4 HP. There might be.
Tizian again. Does get Kenny through the edge of the wall. Steps back out to get Jax as well. Another 2 kills for him. Phenomenal performance thus far. 10 rounds in, he's got 15. Gobby on 11. Those are the 2 guys you don't see at the top of the leaderboard all too often. Next was up there this morning with Tabson. But those guys leading and still no Zontaras. Well, I shouldn't say none. He's 8-4. It's not like he's having a poor game, but yeah, just not taking us by storm.
Yeah, we want to see him have that breakout performance on this team, just because we know what he's capable of. But looks like he's kind of easing himself in as Kenny looks for the crossing players here. He's got no helmet. I did say he will be limited somewhat as the CTs get aggressive towards middle. They double down with the smoke. They close off the gap with the incendiary as well. Grenade won't do any damage, but allows them to get in position at least. Got B. Like you said, he knows all these little exploits and tricks as he sprays towards the T steps now. Oh, is that a thing? I didn't even know.
If anyone knows, it would be Godby. I've never even considered that.
If that's a thing.
That's got to be...
I've never seen anyone do that.
That's got to be at least like a... It's over 240. Like, it's a long jump. You'd have to be pretty good at your jumps to do that. Shocks, Santaras, I don't know. Maybe someone tweet us and let us know. I've never even considered it, so I don't know if it is or not. That's like the one situation you could. Smoke at the top of Horseshoe, you could see above it. That's like the only time that's... I suppose T-side, maybe you could use it maybe to exploit Cat as well at some point. That would be interesting.
That's if you can get up there. I have no idea. I assume you can.
I assume well, but you'd see people boosting there more commonly if you could, right?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's... I
don't think you can. That seems odd. The thing is, I'm not doubting because it's Godby. Nonetheless, next back in. Bomb's already down. Body follows with 2. And it's G2 with a 2-man advantage. Make it 1 more because Jax finds Tabson toward the window. It's just Tizian. Shouldn't say just. He's had an excellent game. This time it's not going to stand true as Lucky gets the kill. Yeah, the fact that it's Godby made me think, well, if anyone would know.
Sure.
But maybe he's just fooling us.
Well, either way, it's going to be Shocks to find a pretty easy kill on Zantares. He hasn't looked too deadly today, quite average, but Body mowing them down. Jax watching the flanks, ripping them apart piece by piece. That timeout seemed to have worked wonders. They haven't broken the finances just yet, though. I don't think they've already had big on Nico just yet. Round 12, 8-3 down. It is a CT-centered map, but you want to be getting at least 5 or 6. Kenny's taking a lot of damage there. He might go down to him, not quite. 12 HP, though. Tabson misses out on the shot towards short. He had the AWP. Body makes his way up now. And next, can't quite find the aim, but Zantares certainly can. That's towards short. This round still within Big's grasp. And Jax, he might have got a free kill here towards short. We'll see how wide he wants to peek. Makes his way down. He knows that makes noise. Still looking at short. Is the player going to be aware? Absolutely not. Guaranteed frag. That's Tizian going down, and that's the round itself. Now Molotov confirms that they'll be able to plant comfortably here. Nothing too experimental required. Default plant. Hold off. Make sure what's going on.
Tara's all the way out toward the top of mid. Ooh, is he going to get... Okay, Lucky's not going around. Thought maybe he's going to walk back around the corner, but might get spotted. He's still trying to hold safely. He's going to be annoyed with that because he thought he was. That's all he wanted. He checked the door to make sure no one was nearby. Godby needs to be perfect when Shocks comes around the corner, but even beyond that, because he had trade potential behind, Shocks gets him. 4 rounds now for G2.
We'll see it coming to fruition some point throughout the major. Big will take the eco here. Godby's called for a partial buy. That means they'll get some armor, a pistol, and that's about it. They'll try and play like a gun round if they have a smoke each. And they've got 5 sevens. This seems to be the weapon they're focusing on here. So a bit of cash. Gob's got 1 smoke. Be interested to see if he's got anything up his sleeve. Just going to do the standard A ramp approach. And there's 4 players actually on the other side of it. One of those is Jax in the palace area. Can never be too careful against pistols in CSGO. You never know what might happen.
Apparently that is entirely possible. A lot of people tweeting saying it is. I'm surprised we don't see that more often on the T side for a boost. Get a smoke down on Catwalk, try and see a little bit deeper into it. It's not a massive angle, but you could certainly use it. I was going to say, if anyone knows, it would be Godby. I've never even considered going up there. Kenny, good pressure resistance as they try and rush through from A main. Lucky's got one on the Gob B, so the gun's paying off so far to make this potentially an 8-5 scoreline. Jax, just a shoulder peek, confirms there's two there, waits for the flash, gets around the corner, waits for a second one. Well timed. Good communication. He was able to look away both times quite quickly, so obviously whoever's throwing them made that very clear, and I think this round is very clear.
I think you might be right. There's a knife. Next goes down. That's extra cash injected. G2 finally coming online here right at the tail end of the first half. It is going to be 8-5 now. Like we said, 5 or 6 rounds. Not the best, but it will do. Considering some of the absolute nightmare rounds G2 have had, I think they'll probably take it at this point. Tizian looking to steal a gun away. Can't quite find the shot. And it will be G2 getting right back in this one now. Money not exactly ideal on the CT side. They don't have the AWP as an option, really. Next could drop one, but he get exactly enough for an AWP, so that's probably not going to happen. As Lucky shows us what he can do with that AK. As Jax close things out. Round 14, AUGs across the board. Seems like Big really are focusing on that weapon. Makes sense. It's in trend right now. Tizian didn't fancy it though, went for the M4 instead. He got a smoke and a flashbang. Kenny failed this shot a couple of times, but Gobby almost offers himself up a free there.
Yep.
Standing
Absolutely
still
did.
in the open.
Well, and normally he gets close, right? But Kenny's fast enough. He'll take care of him every single time. We saw it last time against the Pistols, so Gobby still wants to get that information early on A main.
Yeah, Kenny's tried that pick a few times. I would not recommend challenging that with an M4 or an AUG.
And the last thing you want to do is feed Kenny kills, because we know that he very... Oh, that's a miss. Oh, dear. Kenny's like a, I'm trying to think of what like Dota here, a troll. He's like Troll Warlord. You feed him, the more you feed him, the more he hits you, the more aggressive he gets, harder he is to kill.
Hit his own teammates as well. He's really mad.
Yep, that's true. Poor body. Don't mess with Kenny. Speaking of body, he's around the corner. That smoke is quite clearly not even there anymore. They'll throw a Molotov instead. Lucky would have called that it missed because he was coming up from the underpass. That's why they didn't peek. So no harm, no foul, I suppose. Certainly without anyone inside of the window, but it did slow their approach down just a little bit to be sure of that. And Zantaras still occupies inside a jungle. Ladder position as well for Nex. He didn't play Catwalk. We know how good he is when he plays there. That's why they've smoked it off. Zantaras still kills out Lucky, and Nex holds. He holds everything at this point as well, because I don't think Zantaras spotted him, but Nex, okay, he does turn around and check it at least.
4-on-2, Shocks, Kenny. Not really much left between them. The AWP is up though, so there's always a threat. This duo, on paper, should be able to pull this round off. We'll see what they're capable of. 10 seconds remaining, and that might be it. Kenny absolutely taken down. That's more like it from Zantaras. As it will be Big answering back, looking for double digits here. Will they be able to get it though? They needed that round just to stay afloat around number 15. Shocks has got enough. So's Kenny, $8,000 to his name. 10 frags though. Getting back into it. Remember after the team kill him, back to 0. Then got a 3K. Managed to at least make the round close. Couldn't win it. Lucky's got the best spawn possible. They didn't give him the AWP. He's going to challenge middle with the AK. He's going to have Kenny behind him, so they'll flash them in as he'll focus towards that connector. At this point, do we see any sort of aggression from the CTs? Not really. Next is back on towards shores. Zantaras, as you can see, actually checking out the underpass there. He wants to take these jaws. He wants to show us what he's made of, but that essentially just helps the tease out. It seems a lot of solo little plays from him that aren't really working out at all. He's got out of them a couple of times because he got undetected, but...
I'll get back to that. I have some insight on that. Smoke down to the bottom of connector. Shocks is going to work in. You're absolutely right in assessing that. As Gob B wants to work inside of the site. Shocks, he's already there. If Gob B doesn't see him now, which I don't think he has, I think he doesn't. Oh, he did, just barely. Oh, no, he didn't. He didn't see him in time. He went down so quickly on our screen after getting the kill, I didn't think he'd secured it, but it is a 1-for-1 at the very least. That could have been a lot worse if Gob B wasn't ready to pounce on Shocks.
Gob getting this position we've talked about a lot. On the CT side, holding up here as the clock's running down, it sets you up for a very nice situation. Applies pressure to the T's as they're trying to plant, and he's actually pushing forward a little bit further. He detects it might be a B side attack, and he would be right in thinking that. They've got two players at B. That's going to be Tizian and Nex, but the HP player's gone down. Nex not looking as strong towards B as he did previously. Tizian, though, top fragging so far. 16 kills to his name. He knows Kenny's nearby, and he's hitting shots now. The final round up to God B. The old master making his way through the B apartments. He has got a kit, but only an HE. As we'll have to walk at about this point, nade the van and hope for the best here. It's not looking good for him, though. Spotted now.
Absolutely was. I've already got the eyes on him with the op. Kenny switches over. Good movement from him. Your point to Zontares is not inaccurate. Yesterday, Jason was saying and talking to them, said they've got so much faith in his aim that they haven't implemented him to them, rather than to him.
Okay.
Dobby basically said, what do you want to do? And has designed plays around that. So far, if he can't win these duels, that becomes a problem.
That is a bit of a problem. Can they get out of the hole? In fact, they're in the lead right now. It's actually a very back and forth game, and we'll go to the break and be back with the second half.
It's the French versus Big round 2. This time it's G2, not Vitality, and unfortunately, unlike their compatriots, they are struggling. They're sitting behind at 9-6, but Big aren't exactly comfortable. It's Tizian and Gobby that lead the way. Zontares made his way up to 14, but a lot of solo battles were notified by you.
Yeah, a lot of solo plays, and we saw that in the first game against Vitality as well. That's when he wasn't fragging at all. This looks like a straight-up B rush. We've got one smoke available. They do slow things down, so one smoke will be deployed by Gobby. He'll flash them in as well, and we'll see whether this is going to be a successful take towards B. He'll double flash it, I assume, and that's going to be relatively successful, but he has to get off the position and now try and defend. This is a huge pistol round. Neither of these teams looking too convincing right now, but that's much better from Tapson. My goodness, they're going to shut it all down, but Shoxy still alive and kicking. He gets a third. He actually takes the bomber down as well. Can he buy enough time here? This is the return. If he can find the fourth kill, it won't happen. At least he's in a viable situation for Jax.
What a round from Shox. Zontares, if you're going to give him a kill, that's the one to find because it might save the round. He had so much positioning. He gets the assist on Jax as well, and it's now 10-6 in favor of Big. Single smoke execute. It seemed like they'd done everything on entry, and Shox just found perfect positioning. That's fancy footwork in some ways to dance around this pillar.
I don't know how he gets three there. Remarkable. Zontares finally nullifies him, and And will be Jax, who's dinked straight away. No chance he could win the round at that point. Double digits for Big. Eco for G2. Mac 10s are out. Krieg there for next. You'll see God be using that eventually as well. And here we go. No force buy. G2 already are on the back foot now.
Flash through. Gobby. Ooh, that's a gift. There's Shocks. Lurking down there in the shadows. Cold, dark, moist place like a rat.
Very specific, but I like it.
I'm from a seaside town. There's a lot of rats.
I'm from London. Don't worry about that. We got our fair share too.
That's a good point. I'll check out the A site and realize it's wide open. So this is going to be the only kill. Potentially the only kill, the one against Shocks.
Well, not the most interesting round, I have to say. Walking towards the A-bomb site, get one kill, round completed. G2, not really much to hold on to here, and Big don't necessarily have to chase for the kills, as they're the only ones that have weapons to lose at this point. We'll see what can be done. Tabson needs to be very careful there, maybe overextending. He's probably going to go down as his teammates can really back him up here. They are starting to arrive at the scene of the crime. Zantara is all too happy to oblige and take all of the kills. And he'll get 2 to his name. Tabson gets the USP. He's still got 28 health, and there's another dink there. It looks like Zantara's will be dropped. His aim's starting to come into its own now. It's been a little bit shaky today. But next round comes in. That's a clean sweep from Big, just to note that. They can keep these Mac 10s now. Got to be very smart. He knows he can make those Mac 10s work, especially against G2, who won't have helmets on 2 players, and they don't have any kits. So you can do something very quickly here. Go for a post-plant situation as fast as you can, really. The fact they won't have incendiaries as well in this sort of round means you can actually break through the bomb site a lot cleaner. Let's see what can be done. This is something quite technical. We've got smokes being deployed.
Slightly different lineup for next than most people use. Most people use the little dark texture, I guess, the lack of paint beside the window. But there is a little dark spot in the actual frame itself. One of those slight differences that some people note. Me being one of them, apparently.
Apparently so.
Body, he'll take down Tizian. Unscoped and then realized might have been better off to stay that way because there's a second player. Puts the smoke down, tries to fire into it. Tabson will do the same in return, but neither catching the other with any damage. So it is the advantage, therefore, for G2. Important round for them. Kenny fully invested on the A1S, just to note, because that was another thing. If we thought the AUG was going to come back in and replace the A4, why are more people not playing the A1S as an option to play through smoke instead?
It does beg the question, doesn't it? You'd think with the AUG available, I'll have the M4 as a backup, but I guess it's difficult to preempt a situation where it'd be viable unless you're like, I would say, I'm trying to think of scenarios where it really work out. Mirage is a good map for that execution-based map. You're playing anchoring the B side, perhaps. You want to get one for crossfires and be sneaky like Tizian is. But it's going to be Kenny on the Silence M4 here. And doing a good job. Takes down Zantara. They've got the advantage.
Corner wall, perfectly used for that situation. Bouncing out the flashes. Unfortunately, they were avoided in both cases as Tabson easily was able to hear them and look away. Gets the kill. They haven't checked Firebox. They will now because Lucky's made noise. Dink on next. 1 HP.
No time either.
He'll get away with the gun at the very least. G2's going to find the first round of the half, and importantly so, because if they had lost that, they'd be back to pistols. 1 HP. He'll keep the Krieg.
Neither team looking too convincing right now, but it is G2 to pick the round up. He will keep the Krieg, and he could actually afford to drop an AK, but they don't have to. The money's actually reasonably good. We'll see whether this replay from a previous round will help you. Here we go. Back in the last one. This is Kenny S, the M4. Nice flash, like you said. Well utilized. Didn't work out in the end, but it will be round 19 now. No orb on either side. The Augs and Kriegs go to battle. Kenny S firing off through the smoke. This is a game-defining round. This might be indicative of who takes it. If it's Big, They'll send into an eco or a force buy and get it within touching distance. If it's G2 to pick this round up, break the money down to the terrorist forces and start to close the gap. Right now, very slow defense. Antara's working underpass next to the ramp. Bombs top and middle. Kenny is still with the rifle. He holds short right now. With Lucky in the Ven room, watching for any boosted players.
Trying to hold off as well. Fast snap to the right. Great reaction time. Just couldn't find the aim, and Jax beats him to it. That'll signal the attack potentially toward B. I thought it was going to be a little bit quicker that tabbed someone around on the corner, but they're certainly ready for him. Lucky able to take him down from the top of the ladder. Massive amount of defensive utility used as well on the B apartment. So Zantara's back over toward Connector instead. They certainly know he's there, and they've locked him in. The more they bait out shots, the more position they can get on him as well, and that's what they're trying to do. Once again, Zantara's the one left to open up the site, open up the map. You can see how fast his aim is. He's been known for crosshair placement, being very quick. Every time we did a one-on-one, back in Bucharest or the two-on-two, he was one to watch because he's just so crisp in duels, but he's got to find the space to do that. As Goppy opens up space for him, Kenny runs back by. Now we're seeing Zontaras come off as he finds both Kenny and Jax from the window. 4 seconds left. Bomb's not planted, though, so round's done. That won't be enough, and it's going to be G2 picking up a second round in this half. It might lead to a third, though, because there's not a lot of money left.
It is their second. Both of them have come courtesy of the timer expiring, so there it is. That's going to be 2 weapons saved from Biggs. Antaros with some flashy action towards the end of the round, but unable to take it any further due to having 8 seconds remaining. So nice to see him get his 20th kill. Big numbers from him in more ways than one, as he goes top fragger at this point. It is going to be Tizian 17, Zontaras 20. So he might be coming out of his shell a little bit now and be ready to show the world what he's capable of. And it's going to be 4 players towards the A side of the map, all of them the A ramp. Very little to work with in terms of utility. Tizian just showing his hand towards B, and he's actually given up his head. Gold B pounces at the A side. They might have done enough here. Kenny Esto looking for the cross. The flash is successful, but oh god, it didn't have to face that, and waited for the smoke. Was just about to land.
This is risky. Oh, Lucky. He could have swung on that. He will get the kill for it, but he didn't deny the bomb. Gives Zontaras the next chance. Zontaras wants to face this because why not? We know he's going to be aggressive when he gets the chance. He's got 21 kills now. Wants to watch towards CT. I'm not sure that he's fully aware of the fact that they're inside jungle. His teammate clearing mid behind him is going to give Nex a chance on post plant. But it also is going to catch them off because they're going to have 2 inside connector. The smoke is brilliant, however. He's trying to get the lineup on it. He's off. It's done. G2, they're going to pick up another 11-9 now.
It was a nice idea to have 2 players in the same position after showing presence towards A ramp, but that one smoke just completely destroys any chances they had of winning the round. You saw Zantara is not even 100% sure where the bomb was. Spraying to the left a bit, couldn't get close, and then they just had to save the weapons at that point. G2 starting to get their way back into this one now. Nice shot from Shoxy, and you could see it was a little bit of a B fake there. I say little because this is one PT50 throwing a smoke, dying. They run into A. Relatively open sight. If they had just waited for that smoke to go down jungle, they might have had God be part of the situation as well. Not meant to be, though, as they save 1 AK into this round, maybe 2. I'll see what Nex is able to drop.
Interestingly, Big would go 0-2, both on Mirage against the French teams, but it's a problem because if that's the map you're going to in best of ones, when in this case, you get the mid-3 vetoes, so the first 2 go to G2, then you get to ban 3, then they ban the last, and here we are. That suggests it's a map that's in their pool quite clearly, and it's probably going to be seen in best of 3s for them as well, so this is a problem for Big.
They've invested, not fully, but partially, around the 2 weapons saved. They get 4 stage lost burners. They get a bomb down here, they'll be relatively healthy. Obviously, this is designed to win the round of the 2 rifles here, going for the full A execution. Smokes all over the site. Flashbangs to go over, objective plant and trade out kills and hopefully clutch out towards the end. It's right at the start of the round. CTs are ready. Jax with a nice shot, trying to avoid the utility at this point as the T's commit through the smoke.
Molotovs go down towards spawn, doubling position in fact, so there's 2 there. And they'll plant safe side of default for Gob B.
Now, the thing is, they have no utility on the T side here. Nex has to play in front of smokes. He knows he'll be Molotov'd out of a ramp. He has to find something here. He can't just sit back and wait for the CT to touch the bomb.
There's certainly two toward Connector. He's gone already. One of the rifles down. Dobby couldn't hit the jump. Zantara steps out, finds two nearly. Spray transferred it back to the inside of the site, but Jax, he's already swung out to find Godby, and the Molotov down. Kenny's on the bomb again. It's going to be 11-10. Tizian can't even get close to an angle to even think about firing into the smoke, and it's G2 on 10.
It absolutely is. That's 4 rounds in a row. It wasn't too bad for Big. Like we said, they came into that round with the 2 saved rifles. As long as they get the bomb down, they had another buy there. They're still in the lead. It's 11-10, but that's slowly but surely going in the other direction. They've won the pistol in both halves now. Going up 5-0 initially. Now 2-0 in the second half, but 4 rounds in a row for G2 has closed the gap significantly. Kenny S with the AWP. Not the same story for Big, but tabseN certainly doesn't need the AWP. He's an absolutely crazy rifler as well. As Shox position himself towards middle, Kenny S holding that A-Ram, hits the shot. Zantara's down to 15, and Jax wants a bit of the action. He'll be flashed over as he pushes round.
God, B. Cheeky little smoke. All the way to CT. Not bad. Trajectory does give something away if it's carefully noted. Kenny that time looked a little bit distracted, but now that he's smoked off, Godby's going to work it in through connector. He's got so much to worry about, though, because Jax already takes down Zantares. He's got to swing out hard against Shox, and then if he does that, Kenny can still peek from CT. Or Shox can just walk into him. That certainly helps. One of the information, they still have the man advantage, but it wasn't really required from Shox's position. Jax on top of the site, though, holds off, makes sure he catches out Gob. And he's still holding inside with an AUG. It's not done yet, you know.
Maybe not quite. 30 seconds, though. Kenny S holding spawn, not wanting to give much away. He's only got 30 points of health here. They still have an incendiary on Lucky as well. The plant comes in. That'll be the cue for him to strike, and it's perfectly done. You couldn't really ask for more from Kenny in that position. Jumps up, denies the plant, tabs in now. Even if he gets the bomb down, I'll be impressed, as he has been tagged by Kenny. He'll try and bait out a CT here, and at this point, you're just baiting out your own death because they're surrounding you, and it will be 11-11. With the money, a maximum loss bonus, and they do have a buy here, but it'll be so weak. Zantara's 3,400, exactly what you get for losing the round. So they might want to take a tactical timeout here and just discuss their options. Do they want to invest here? I'm not sure. I would say probably just go for the pistols, some armor. That's about it. Tech 9's coming out. Max 10 for Zantares. The Fatty goes back to get a smoke, yes. It suggests they're doing something quite technical here. Wouldn't be a fake, but looks at things. Smokes towards either side of the pillars. And are they going to commit off it? Maybe not. So they smoked it like that. And they're heading into the B split. The problem is Connector's not exactly covered right now. And luckily, they do get past without taking a casualty.
Smoke down as well on the corner. tabseN, top of the fence. Doesn't want to jump through the window. They have no information as to what's going on toward jungle, so probably the right decision. And they'll boost Cinders. But look at this. Smoke down. Lucky. It's not his first rodeo. In fact, anticipating the boost so much that he nades them.
That did so much damage. Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. Perfect nade. Nice idea to boost, but now they're really locked in. They've got players in connector. Shoxy top of middle. Jack's watching the vent. How do they even get in towards B now? They've expelled most of their utility at the start. Shox is coming in, and he's got a couple of kills on a plate if he gets a flashbang from a teammate. tabseN aware of the possibility of the flank coming in. Very slow approach here from Big. Just waiting for their opportunity. And Shoxy knows it. He's not taking the bait.
Smoke down. This is when Shox wants to go. Spots tabseN.
Wow. Great play.
Backs off. Shots out from Zantares. Back 10's going to go aggressive to the site. Nearly got lucky as well. He's low, but it's all on Nex, so it's going to fall apart. G2. This is impressive from them. They're starting to come alive. We talked about it. You know what to see from these two particular players. Shox that time pitches them in. Kenny closes out with 2. He's now on 18 kills, including a team kill, so 19 in the game. And they lead 12-11. Speaking of lead, A-Stream update. Hellraisers 13-2 over Ents, currently on Dust 2.
What's happened there?
Ents were a team a lot of people put inside of their top 8. They're about to go 0-2, and Hellraisers will secure a map in doing so, avoiding the minor, putting CIS with more spots potentially. That's phenomenal from them.
Hellraisers have got one of the best Dust 2 players in the game. It's Voxic. His AWPing on Dust 2 is phenomenal. I always say it, we never really see it whenever I build that up. I want to go check how he's doing individually. That sounds insane. But yes, there we go. Hellraisers, a lot of people saying they could be dangerous here. Didn't see it in the first game, but that sounds much more like it. As their Dust 2 is indeed. And yeah, Voxic, 21 kills, 5 deaths. So he's killing up. That's more of his map. That's what you want to see him do damage on. You do not want to play Hellraisers on Dust 2. Public service announcement.
For what it's worth, Ents won the second pistol, but we'll see how that one goes. Meanwhile, in our game, it's G2 all the way right now. From 11-6 to 11-12, they've got everything going, all their ducks in a row. And they've got pretty much everyone in a row toward A main. Jax at Palace. He's going to get taken out by Nex. That's the first time in a while they've lost the opening pick, and they'll lose the map control as a result of it. Shox wants to get aggressive and get underneath of Shadow. And Kenny will rotate to CT. That's the response. So they still have a decent setup inside of the A site. But with a minute and 17, the uncertainty is that Big can play the map. Body is pushed up decently inside of the B Palace. B apartments, the Bartmans.
The Bartmans are back. And Big might be as well. Kenny S sitting in the flames right now, but just on the precipice of them. I have no idea, but he's really in trouble here. That shot had to connect. That's a Kenny S special right there. But Shoxy, he might be able to deliver the magic. That's more like it. Kenny S does not deny the plan, but certainly puts him in good stead for the round after losing the initial pick. They haven't given away much at all. Tabsin, though, capable of winning these, even with low HP, but maybe not when that's happening. It looks like G2 saved the day once again, this time courtesy of Shoxy, who somehow is still alive after Kenny S misses the initial kill. Maybe that was enough to take the distraction away.
That was a really good reaction, though, because they were playing passive and letting Jax get the information. Kenny was waiting in mid for the call. As soon as Jax went down, Shock said, right, well, I'll just get to the front of the site, so I'm at least catching them off. I'm forward of the smokes if they want to execute, and Kenny takes all the aggro. So yes, he did miss a shot that we didn't think was characteristic of Kenny and could have cost them. They completely overlooked Shox.
Absolutely. And Body, nice clean finish as well. Good play. Nice round from G2. Big now.
I also don't know how Shock or Kenny was like parting the seas in that flame. Like they were literally on both sides of it, and he was like, I'll just stay here.
It's fine. No one seemed to suspect him. And on the other side, he actually had a couple of chances of kills. Managed to get the all-important one, though. Took down the player after he planted. That's going to be 7 rounds in a row for G2. After losing both pistols, they were 5-0 down in the first half. They lose a pistol in the second half. It looked like Big were about to go on a rampage, but it's anything but at this point. Luckily for them, they have got maximum loss bonus. They are planting consistently. They've planted 3 times out of the last 5 rounds. And we're heading to round number 25. It looks like G2 really have got full control now in terms of the fragging department. Big just down on their level right now. All for Kenny, and we'll get into another default round here. Next alone towards the A ramp with his faithful Krieg. Tizian swallows a couple of grenades in the B apartments and goes down to 31.
Triple smoke mid, which means cat window connector. Flash in, Gobby. He really had to commit to that, didn't he? Quick little peek. That'll work. Okay, falls back, gets Kenny instead, and he's been red hot. Taps in on Catwalk. Big with a round, perhaps? They've got 31 on Tizian, but they've got a 2-man advantage.
Well, Shock's still alive. Anything can and will happen. Hasn't been his biggest game in terms of numbers, but he's always a threat. Will any mistakes be made here? Tabson, this is a risky move, but he seems to be aware of the possibilities. Takes down Shoxy. Nice work. Lucky and Body. Surely don't have anything to say about this. Tizian controls the B side of the map, confirms at least still there. That should be the cue to go. They know there can be a maximum of 1 player on the A side now. It's actually 0. So tabs in towards short the AWP. This is looking much better for Big. They can even plant safely if they like. But there we go. It's going to be a round for Big. Plenty of money for G2. At this point, I think Body's just seeing if there's any kills available to him, trying to remove some cash out of their pockets. Now he knows the loss bonus is going to be taken away.
Tabson going to go aggressive with the op. Ooh, he did everything right except hit the shot. Gets it on the second try. Big finally getting an answer, and they'll keep 4 alive doing it. So Zantares leads, interestingly enough, on 24. And I say interestingly enough, ADR 99. Stats are there. The stats support the player, but I haven't seen the impact from that.
Most of those kills were in the first half, and he has been finding a lot of kills in rounds they haven't been winning. So yes, bringing out a lot of frags. We haven't had, wow, Zantares saves the day moment yet, have we? It's all been like he's been, the rounds they win, he's been draining out some kills and hitting some nice shots, sure, but a lot of his kills have had no real knock-on effects, but still, big answer back. That's a loss bonus removed now. Need to be very careful at this point as to what happens next. But at the same time, G2 are financially ruined if they lose this as well. Another huge moment. It's a very quiet start here. Big don't have anyone towards the A side of the map. No one at Palace, no one at A ramp. Means you have to move pretty quickly. You know G2 like a push. Can't sit around too long. They're going to wait for these smokes to go down initially, and I assume they'll execute towards B. To go back towards T-spawn now, not knowing the CTs have already pushed, is a little bit scary as that smoke comes down as well. Losing information on the map, and now a frag as well. Body actually pushes through and gets one through the smoke cleanly, I believe. A little bit frustrating to receive that. One is Tabson of all the players. The AWPer, the player that gets 3 kills in the previous round. He's dropped, and the AWP goes in the hands of God B.
Molotov to the window, Gobby sneaking up the catwalk position. A soul to be spotted inside of the A site. Timer on that smoke. Gobby's going to throw it under the one to protect him from connector, but that's going to make it obvious that they're coming from Cat. Body's already ready for it. And keep in mind, Lucky, he's still inside of the sights. On Torres, good find this time. Lucky flashed off, trying to find an angle. Gets back out, but he's blinded a 3rd time. 4th behind him. Nowhere to go. Tizian's got him so much utility from Big. Still the only 1-man advantage with Kenny S still in play, but forced out. Gobby hits the shot of the AWP against him, and Jax is off to save.
There we go. The door is wide open now. Gobby actually saved today with the AWP. Close range hits 2 beautiful shots there. 21 kills, so he's now doing a fantastic job. As Jax will have no other option but to save the weapon. They're going to have 2nd stage loss bonus. That's $1,900 per player. Shocks will have enough to buy himself. Same story for Body. They're going to save an AUG. But it's such a scary time to do it. You really want to commit at 13-13 to an all-in purchase when you haven't really got everything you need. They won't have the Kenny S AWP unless Shocks see the strength. You know what? I'll just drop the AWP for you. See what you can make happen. I'll go eco. That it's going to be a timeout, surely, whatever happens here. I say surely, you never know.
Big's out of timeouts, just to note.
G2 need this one.
So G2, I think, have 2 left, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, you don't normally call it until the end.
Yeah, so you use the freeze time, yeah.
Let's see if they do go for it. They haven't, so they don't. Okay, well, fair enough then. Oh, Body's gone for a little FAMAS. Okay, this is why they probably needed a timeout. Someone's going to do a last-second decision like that. Let's really think about it. But he spent a lot of his money there, getting armor and a FAMAS, but maybe it's the difference maker. We'll see. He'll be boosted up towards short.
Body jumping off the cinders to get information and timing it with the flashes. Going to go with Kenny, so it's worked out. His purchase so far, he's got 2 plus the assist. Gobby got the others back, but there's guns available and the bomb is down inside of middle. They've got to be careful because they've given up B. Tizian can wrap in behind. He's gone quiet, by the way, Tizian. Excellent first half. Haven't seen as much from him since then, but next, on the other side, Krieg versus Og.
Oh my goodness. Next could actually do a lot of damage here. Body's looked away at the wrong time as well, but Next is going to throw a Molotov in his position. Shoxy can back him up. Oh, he's done, boy. He's burning. Tizian takes him down. That's a really nice play from Big. That communication to get those Molotovs down and leave him with nothing. They spotted him in CPL, double Molotov the room and the exit as well. So that's really well played, but still need to recover the bomb now and still find 2 kills. Next confirms underpass is clear at least.
Lucky's just waiting. Information for sure. They made so much noise. Shocks, it's a one-on-one. Tizian hit Lucky. They pulled this back. And Neck wants the fight, but Shocks is going to win it. It's 14 rounds for the French.
That's so huge. Just as we said, if Body buys that for Mass and it turns out to be the difference maker, then that's such a godlike call. He pulls it out in the last second of freeze time, ends up getting 3 kills with it. Really can't argue with the result, and that's such a huge round for G2 to pick up there. 14-13, they answer straight back. Their money's not ideal, but there will be a timeout used here, I believe. Oh my goodness. Big R got a bite. They've got enough for the AWP. Looks like God B's going to use it. AK's coming out as well. Next on the Deagle, Zantara is going to forward AK armor. There's the Gob sniper. That's going to be the main talking point. Has he got the decent spawn? Is that why he's got it? Let's have a look. He actually hasn't, so they're maybe dropping a slower pace strategy where Gob holds the B apartments with the push with the AWP. Next on the Deagle, Zantara's AK comes out, 25 kills, but like you mentioned, it's not like it's been a stunning game for him. We haven't noticed anything that's been particularly stand out, but
Quietly going about it, isn't he? Oh. Kenny's going to smoke himself out of here as well.
he's waiting for the nades. Now gets out safely. That's actually a big play from Kenny.
So Shocks has the A site to work with. A-Stream's getting a little bit interesting. 5 rounds in a row now for Ents. This one's very interesting because Big is about to go potentially 0-2. And this round could certainly change that as they pull it back, but then lose it again. Jack's able to find Zantares. Tizian commits. Oh, he was a bit confused by that.
Yeah, because he spotted a CT player on the side. He's like, right, I've got him. And all of a sudden there's one beneath you, a van, and that solo little play has not worked out. God B on the AWP, and the bomb on his back. Waits for the smoke to go down. He'll flush out the CT, but he was hoping there'd be one on the right side of the balcony there. Not the case. But Nex giving himself up. It's now up to the CT to close this one out. Godby hits another couple of shots. He's doing very well with the AWP today. That's a 2 versus 1. This is actually winnable. Goes for the AWP.
Second one was impressive. He didn't have a lot to fire at there. And this is a situation where Kenny might hold on to an AWP and try and clutch it. Gob's not going to be overstating himself on the AWP. He knows he's not the flashiest. Go to the AUG, try and win this out. He's going to babysit the bomb as well. That's uncharacteristic of these situations. They wouldn't have expected it, but Jax is still looking that direction. And it's going to be map point G2.
You could see that sigh of frustration from God B. To be fair, he got 2 kills, got the bomb down, and around where his teammates had already started dropping. But let's see the ramifications of it. It's going to, oh my goodness, it's about $3,000 per player. Big looking down the barrel of 0-2. They're going to have to buy here. There's no option to partially buy, take an eco, anything like that. There's no timeout remaining, as it looks like G2 might have done enough after being 0-5 down. Galil's coming out. It's not going to be pretty. But if anyone can think of a strategy to pull this one off, maybe it's got B. Mac 10s they've opted for, so they're going heavy on the utility instead of firepower.
So G2 looking to go 1-1. Big would fall to the 0-2 bracket. That'll be a best of 3 for them tomorrow, if that's the case, if they don't pull this back now. And potentially a minor visit in the next major cycle, because if you do not win a series, either one of the best of 1s that you play or the best of 3, you got to play a minor. You got to go all the way back to the starting blocks. Kenny, he's got Godby down. He's going to, step out. Missed the timing, but he's got the opening pick and the information at least. Jax can rotate off. The Shocks is still on balcony, so they've got a crossfire with rifles as well.
Good smoke on the A ramp. The T's get somewhat, that's a nice smoke. If it lands in the palace, that's sick. Well done. Either way.
Is that the cat smoke?
No, he bounced it off the wall.
Oh, it's the bounce. Okay, my mistake.
Towards palace.
It's still pretty sick that it gets there. Jax is now able to very comfortably look toward jungle. That allows Shocks to do the same. Jax drops down. G2 16-13. And Vitality and G2 beat Big. Both of the French teams successful against a team that many people were expecting big things from coming into this event.
Now, Matt.